Hi, my name is Michi Held. Welcome to Daily Drum Lesson. Today I want to show you some beginner-friendly comping ideas. So first of all, what are compings? Well, compings are those little rhythms happening on the snare drum when you play jazz. You can also use your bass drum for that, but today we will stick to quarter notes on the bass drum to complement our imaginary bass player. So for this whole lesson, we will play a simple jazz beat and just try out different ideas on the snare drum. So let's start with the right cymbal. Here we play the classic swing right cymbal pattern. Now we add the hi-hat on count 2 and 4. And the kick on all 4 quarter notes. This is our foundation. You can get through a whole song with just this, but it is kind of boring. So let's add some compings, some rhythms to complement the rest of the band. And at this point, I want to talk about compings and how you use them and how you come up with them. Most of the time drummers will tell you, just play what you hear. Try to pick up some rhythms from the other instruments and try to catch some details and just play them along. But this is really difficult. You have to keep the groove going on your right cymbal and your hi-hat while you pick up those new rhythms and play them with your left hand in the heat of the moment while playing a song. This needs a very strong independence and a lot of practice. And you have to be very aware of everything that is happening around you. So this is not the beginner route. We will go another way. We will use repetitive compings as part of the groove. And this is definitely the best way to start. Learn to walk before you run. Let's start simple. We play the snare on count 1 and 2 end. When you see notation for stuff like this, most of the time you just get the snare. Everything else is there anyway. The right cymbal, the bass drum, the hi-hat. So you don't need that on your notation. It will just look confusing. I will just notate the snare. It's a good idea to get used to this kind of notation as early as possible. To make this a bit more interesting, we will now make this a 2-bar phrase. So this is now 2 bars long, and we will use a call and response idea. So the second bar is like an answer to the first bar. Let's do that by just repeating the 2 notes and add another one on count 3 and. If you know where I stole this groove from, write a comment. Next up, we keep everything the same. We just add another note right before that very last one. So it just gets a bit more interesting. Here we go. For groove number 3, we will go back to our original idea, but instead of adding an additional note on count 3 and, we will move that first note of the second bar by an eighth note. The compings we looked at so far were all in the same ballpark. They originated all from the same idea. You can now mix and match and come up with your own grooves. For example, let's take the second half of groove number 2 and the second half of groove number 3, and we got a totally new thing. Groove number 4 starts off with a totally new idea. This one right here. The cool thing is that these 3 notes are evenly spaced. We got a note, we got an eighth note rest, we got a note, we got another eighth note rest, and we got another note. We will repeat that idea in the second bar, but this time with 3 quarter notes. The last groove for today starts out exactly the same. This idea again, but the second bar is now kind of random. I just played around with it, came up with this groove, and I like it. Your response doesn't always have to follow your call in a logical way. As long as you like it and it makes sense to you, it's perfectly fine. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you like this, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like. If you want to make more videos like this possible, consider donating to my Patreon campaign. And I see you next Friday. Bye bye.